there are many ways to answer this question of what is a new paradigm. So I'm going to answer it from my own particular lens and the thing that excites me, and it actually relates to everything I've talked about in this interview. For me, the new paradigm is about the coming online and maturity of humanity's feminine capacities. I think our feminine capacities have pretty much been offline for an eternity, and it's a generalization. It's just my sensing that is what has been going on and what's been playing out. And those feminine capacities, interconnectedness, the subjective lens, understanding our emotional guidance system, the inner world, the inner space, I think that as these qualities start to mature and we mature our ability to work with them, that is the soil that's going to give birth to a whole new reality. That's the quantum leap. So for example, right now, I'll speak to this from my own experience actually. Pre-2012, I would use my feeling intelligence to some extent. I would listen to my feelings and my intuitions. I was quite a big dreamer. I had a lot of dreams, and I would listen to them and I'd take notice and say, well, these feelings are quite useful, or I noticed that feeling didn't make me feel good, so I'll shift it. There were times I had major depressions, and I also struggled with a chronic anxiety at one period in my life. I was out of work for nearly 2 years. I had a complete utter breakdown and psychological episode, whatever you want to call it. So I had these encounters with emotions and intuition in both ways that extremely impacted my life and then ways that I noticed could improve my life. But I wouldn't say that like I had a very sophisticated understanding of how they were really majorly impacting me in the world around me. In 2012, things really began to shift for me. They took on a whole new life. The dream life, I would say, became much more colourful, much more intense. For anyone who relates to this word cosmic, part of the new paradigm vocabulary, very cosmic. Premonitions started to happen. I began to have visions and messages that might not translate to everybody, but they were messages for me, intelligent data that could not be described as a dream, something else. And I realised through some life experiences I was going through that my reality around me was not just an accident, it was a reflection of this feeling mental state I was in. And it was like a light coming on, and the wow factor inside me, I was like, this has been switched off my whole life. How many other people is it switched off in? And the lights came on massively, and I was like, if this is who I truly am as a human being, the reality I've been created in is crazy. I can create whatever reality I want. I can use this emotional body, and I am connected to the whole universe. Inside of me is a connection to the entire universe and all its intelligence. That's a broad summary of my conclusion. So, to me, the new paradigm is the awakening of the inner self, our recognition of how this reality has actually been created, and that's why it shows up, I think, in its seed format right now as people with crystals, and they're like unicorns, and they talk about chakras, and they talk about their feelings all the time and their dreams. And it's very heavy because we're learning to deal with capacities we didn't have in the past. I think that was the maturing at the beginning of this happening, from the hippie phase up to what was called the harmonic convergence in 1987. And 2012, for anyone who heard about it, was the beginning of that build up and mounting to something coming alive at a planetary level. I think that therefore the new paradigm is now really kicking off, and our involvement in this and others around us are building new worlds based on that mature, balanced understanding of reality.